Don't be mean.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for those examples of 80s cinema that we feel deserve another look-see.
The key.
Number 20. Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Wanna go in? No. No?
The heritage of Disney throughout the 1970s and 80s was marked by a handful of films boasting more mature themes. Escape to Witch Mountain and particularly The Watcher in the Woods were excellent examples to this end, as was Something Wicked This Way Comes from 1983.
I wish I was out there to run, to throw, and tackle, touchdowns. I mean, there's nothing like to smell that grass, to run on the field.
This latter film adapted the Ray Bradbury novel of the same name with a wonderfully dark atmosphere and tone for a Disney venture. Audience tastes weren't exactly receptive to Something Wicked This Way Comes at the time of its release, and it severely underperformed at the box office.
Here, the looking glass of pride and ruined vanity, where wars of time are fought and lost. And now this. This is your class.
It thankfully gained a cult audience today, remaining a captivating example of a risk-taking Disney flick with tons of style. Number 19. Bright Lights, Big City.
You are not the kind of guy who would be at a place like this at this time of the morning. But here you are. And you can't say that the terrain is entirely unfamiliar, although you must admit that the details are fuzzy.
This is a film that has so much going for it, yet Bright Lights Big City was almost a very different feature. The final cut had to be assembled from scratch due to an original draft that bore little resemblance to its source novel.
So how do you like it down here, in fact?
All in all, I'd rather be in fiction.
Oh, you write, don't you?
It seems to be a matter of opinion.
What we have turned out to be a satisfying dramatic role for Michael J. Fox, portraying a young man whose life seems to be spiraling out of control. Bright Lights Big City also boasts outstanding cinematography from the legendary Gordon Willis, as well as a soundtrack full of 80s icons. The ensemble cast is also great, particularly Kiefer Sutherland, Phoebe Cates, and Fox's future wife, Tracy Pollan. Bright Lights Big City is definitely worth some reinvestigation.
Can't be there! Shut up! Shut up!
Could make a sandwich.
Number 18. My Bodyguard. There were numerous impressive debuts to be found in 1980's My Bodyguard.
Who's a new kid? I know, he's kind of little. Ask him where he's from. You ask him. Go on.
Adam Baldwin, Joan Cusack, and Jennifer Beals all show up young and fresh-faced here, while the screenplay from noted horror scribe Alan Ormsby is strong. This can be felt in how Ormsby treats his young characters, since a lot of respect is paid to their backstories, motivations, and feelings.
Oh, to pay you to be my bodyguard. Maybe some of the other kids could, too. I could do your homework. I'm pretty smart. But at least it's not paying extortion.
Not interested.
This often turbulent world of adolescence is explored in My Bodyguard wonderfully by its leads Chris Makepeace, Matt Dillon, and the aforementioned Baldwin. The cast executes the material in a way that feels leaps and bounds beyond typical teen fare of the day. That's for sure.
Oh, and Melvin, your protection services are no longer required. By anyone. You know what I mean? You can go now.
Number 17. 3 O'Clock High.
I guess I should have known from the beginning. It was gonna be one of those days.
It speaks volumes that producer Steven Spielberg requested that his name be removed from the credits to 3 O'Clock High. This all came down to this film's unapologetically dark and realistic tone, which is as anti-Spielbergian as an 80s flick can get, right? 3 O'Clock High possesses a simple yet interesting plot that takes place within a single day. It's a story to which many of us can also relate as well, since it surrounds conflict and one young man's response to a challenge.
You made me mad, Jerry. Now I'm gonna have to do something to work it off.
Work it off.
You and me, we're gonna have a fight
Today, after school, 3 o'clock in the parking lot.
3 O'clock High failed to make its budget back at the box office, but it remains an outside-of-the-box 80s flick with a stellar electronic soundtrack from Tangerine Dream and Sylvester LeVay. We think you should check out both. Number 16. Better Off Dead. The subject matter at the center of Better Off Dead makes it a film that would be challenging to remake today. Yet this is perhaps also why it's endured for so many who originally watched it back in 1985.
What you going to do that for? Really, Lane? Why? That's sick.
Better Off Dead is a black comedy through and through, exploring lead John Cusack's desire for self-destruction after being dumped by his girlfriend.
I tell you, Jenny, that boy is obsessed.
Now, honey. Obsessed?
The results meld some typical teen movie tropes with other, more surrealistic moments that feel anything but generic. It should be said that Better Off Dead does tend to divide some folks, including Cusack, who initially hated the film. The actor eventually softened his stance, remarking to a 2013 Reddit AMA that he was glad people love it still.
You missed! You missed this time, you little menace! I beat you! Morning.
Number 15. Inner Space.
Jack, my name is Lieutenant Tuck Pendleton. I've been miniaturized. I was supposed to be injected into the body of a laboratory rabbit, and somehow I got inside you instead.
Never underestimate the power of home video. If that's not an 80s focused sentence, then we don't know what is. Yet it also accurately describes the groundswell of support Inner Space earned after its initial release in 1987. Joe Dante's mishmash of comedy, action, and science fiction bombed at the box office, but found new life at the video store.
Lydia, look, don't leave. You know you love me, huh?
It was here where Inner Space flourished, warming up VCRs around the globe with its tale of a tiny Dennis Quaid, a hilarious Martin Short, and all kinds of adventure. Dante's likable style is evident throughout Inner Space, while the rest of the cast, including Meg Ryan, Kevin McCarthy, and John Hora, all do great work here.
I'm in here, inside you, inside your body.
Oh, God. Somebody help me! I'm possessed!
Number 14. At Close Range. The modern-day interest in true crime makes it a perfect cultural landscape for films such as 1986's At Close Range to be rediscovered by audiences.
You've done a lot for my boy.
I hope so.
You changed him.
Thank you.
The story is based upon the exploits of Bruce Johnston, whose life of crime came to an end thanks, in part, to the testimony of his son. Christopher Walken is all tension and menace as Brad Whitewood, who eventually inducts Brad Jr. and his brother Tommy into his gang.
Is this the gun you used?
That's a nice looking gun.
Is this the gun you used to kill Tommy? Tommy's dead, isn't he?
It all goes south fast, with Walken and real-life siblings Sean and Chris Penn making At Close Range feel absolutely compelling. Meanwhile, performances from Crispin Glover, Kiefer Sutherland, Candy Clark, and Mary Stuart Masterson help solidify At Close Range as a viewing experience you will not soon forget.
Tommy, if you was to go up in front of that grand jury, what would you say?
Nothing.
Dad.
Number 13. Manhunter. It's perhaps a common misconception that 1991's The Silence of the Lambs served as the cinematic debut for one Dr. Hannibal Lecter. The Thomas Harris character actually showed up 5 years earlier, portrayed by Brian Cox, for Michael Mann's underrated Manhunter.
I know that I'm not smarter than you.
Then how did you catch me?
You had disadvantages.
What disadvantages?
You're insane.
The film, somewhat incredulously, bombed at the box office, though it's largely seen today as a forward-thinking exercise in style from the ever-reliable man. Manhunter focused on forensic science during an era where old-fashioned police work was still largely seen as the only way to solve crimes.
It's not over yet.
Oh, for Christ's sake, it's a foregone conclusion. It's 11:30 p.m. The full moon is happening tonight. Give it up. Forget this month. It's too damn late.
Meanwhile, Cox's performance as Lecter/Lector is understated and menacing. The bold colors and outstanding cinematography also go a long way into making Manhunter a film that, in our opinion, is a must-see. Number 12. Miracle Mile.
I never really saw the big picture before. Not till today. Love can sure spin your head around. God, where do you begin?
Many supremely quirky films were released during the 1980s. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension comes to mind, as well as this unique take on the disaster film genre released in 1988. Miracle Mile asks a difficult question to its audience, namely, what would you do if you knew the world was coming to an end? Writer-director Steve DeJarnett crafts a tale of new love and heartbreak, told in real time amidst the backdrop of nuclear Armageddon.
Oh, so he was calling from a missile silo. He said that they were locked in 50 minutes and counting to shoot off their nuclear wad.
There's an ominous and fatalistic darkness that looms over Miracle Mile, yet we still feel a semblance of hope while watching Harry and Julie.
Third date, Harry. I'm gonna screw your eyes blue.
Specifically, their vain attempts to reconnect as the world goes to hell. Number 11. The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. The boundless and unstoppable creativity of Terry Gilliam was set on full display in 1988's The Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
Laws of hydraulics, laws of social dynamics, laws of this, that, and the other. No place for three-legged cyclops in the South Seas.
This maverick director crafted an indescribable fantasy adventure that bombed at the box office, yet also captured the imaginations of many on home video. The tall tales of Baron's exploits feature everything from a young Uma Thurman as Venus to an uncredited Robin Williams as the King of the Moon.
I'm free. I'm free at last. The body is dead. The body is dead. Long live the head. It's finished. Finito. Bye, body.
Meanwhile, the magical creatures and swashbuckling set pieces ensure that these adventures remain some of the most ambitiously artistic sentiment ever set free upon the silver screen.
Hello.
Number 10. To Live and Die in L.A. Based on the novel written by former Secret Service agent Gerald Pitovich, this film was among the 80s most exciting.
U.S. Secret Service. I'm arresting this guy for counterfeiting. Freeze! Who are you?
Secret Service. I just came in to take a leak.
The story centers on a Secret Service agent who vows revenge against a counterfeiter who killed his partner.
You push too hard. You take it too personally. You're never going to reach retirement.
I'm not interested in retirement, buddy.
It sounds cliche, but the car chases and shootouts throughout the movie are so exciting, and the LA setting is so beautifully shot with such style that it stands apart from other thrillers of the time. That, along with William Peterson's and Willem Dafoe's intense performances, makes this film an underrated gem. Number 9. Midnight Run.
We'd really like to have a word with you.
Oh, yeah, what about? It involves big cash, a lot of prizes.
Director Martin Brest enjoyed an enviable run of hits throughout the 1980s, including the OG Beverly Hills Cop. That movie remains insanely quotable, as does Brest's 1988 feature, the incredibly awesome Midnight Run.
Could I have my money first?
Of course. What do you think? I'm going to try to stiff you?
Robert De Niro and Charles Grodin possess magnificent chemistry together as a pair who are dodging the law, the mob, and everything in between. as they struggle not to kill each other.
These things go down, they go. It's too big. It's too big. It can't go up.
De Niro's bounty hunter and Grodin's mobbed-up money man are at the focus of a film with plenty of action and thrills to spare. Midnight Run had the difficult task of balancing action, drama, and comedy in an entertaining way, but Brest and his team absolutely rose to the occasion. Number 8. The Dead Zone. Depending on who you ask, proper adaptations of Stephen King's works are few and far between, but The Dead Zone definitely qualifies as a proper adaptation. Released 4 years after King's novel, the story follows a teacher who wakes from a coma to discover he has psychic abilities.
Your daughter's screaming. The house is burning. Your daughter's in the house. It's not too late.
Christopher Walken gives one of his most underrated performances in this film, as he is both relatable and sympathetic in the main role.
She knows it. Not scared. She knows him.
All right.
The story, like most of King's, is intense, emotional, and characteristically eerie, proving to be one of the best movies of the year.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm talking about you staying out of the campaign business and me staying out of the publishing business.
Number 7. Local Hero. Local Hero, a film about an American oil representative who travels to Scotland to purchase land for his company, may not sound very exciting, but it packs a hell of a punch.
Maybe I could give you an abusive phone call some night. Anytime that's inconvenient, the surprise element might do a lot of good. I mean harm. Out!
The characters of this film are fascinating, human, and hilarious, with performances that definitely carry the weight of their complexity.
Says it all. Good thinking. A good thinking.
Olsen, son.
Olsen, we got a job.
Writer and director Bill Forsyth evokes both emotion and laughs, and his efforts won him a BAFTA for Best Direction. It's a small film, but one that encompasses more quality than some of Hollywood's best.
There was every chance of a full recovery and a fully active life. Mac was on top of the situation.
They didn't like the rabbit.
Mac loved the rabbit, that's just the point. It had a name, 2 names.
Number 6. Thief. Notable for being director Michael Mann's major film directorial debut, Thief is just as powerful and exciting as many of his other movies.
You don't do nothing. We point you to a score. When we say it's there, it's there. They're all laid out scores.
Adapted from a novel written by real thief John Siebold, it tells the story of a thief performing a job for the mafia.
You do what I say. I run you. There is no discussion. I want you work until you are burned out, you are busted, or you're dead. You'll get it.
The film stars James Caan, and like usual, he is terrific in the role, embodying a professional thief perfectly. Thief is heart-stopping at its best moments, proving to be an exciting and intelligent film that broke boundaries of what a thriller could accomplish. Number 5. Near Dark. A great merger of Western and vampire films, Near Dark perfectly blends the two genres together, but never loses the unique touch that makes each one memorable.
Where are we going?
You'll see.
I don't like surprises, Caleb.
The movie is directed by Catherine Bigelow, now a big-time A-lister, and received favorable reviews and later a cult following. However, it was released too soon after more successful vampire movies, being overshadowed by their success. Even so, as a young man becomes involved with a group of nomadic vampires, the audience is treated to a tour de force of beautifully shot sequences, lots of blood, and even some genuine emotion.
There you stood by the side of that road, and I just knew you were trouble.
You were right.
Number 4. Something Wild. Action comedies are a winning combination, and this is certainly the case with Something Wild, an underrated gem starring the always fantastic Jeff Daniels as a man who is taken on an adventure by a free-spirited woman.
I don't know how this happened.
This is just, I got a lot of things on my mind, business things, and I simply forgot.
While it certainly isn't as popular as it deserves to be due to its quirkiness, it has obtained a cult following and has been hailed as one of Daniels' funniest, most overlooked roles.
Do you have a hangover?
Yes, I have a hangover.
Well, then this is the stuff that you drink for a hangover. Come on, drink it, please.
It also has plenty of tonal shifts to keep the movie interesting, and it makes for one unpredictable ride.
Look, tomorrow you're gonna wake up, you're still gonna beat Charlie Driggs, And this'll all be over and done with. So why don't we enjoy it while we can?
Number 3, After Hours.
Good. Yeah, you got it. Another week, you have it down.
It's temporary anyway. I said it's temporary anyway. I do not intend to be stuck doing this for the rest of my life.
When we say comedy, the gritty Martin Scorsese is probably not the first person to pop into your head, but his funny bone shines in this film about a man who runs into misadventures as he makes his way home.
Hey, it's me. I did it. I quit my job.
What do you want me to do about it?
Scorsese had successfully dabbled in comedy prior to this with the King of Comedy, but After Hours' outrageous, fun, and relatively simple premise makes it a true gem. Scorsese even won himself the Best Director award at the Cannes Film Festival, and the movie remains darkly hilarious but sadly overlooked to this day.
Can I get you something?
I have 97 cents.
It's not very much, is it?
Number 2, Blowout.
God, the scream is terrible.
What cat did you strangle to get that?
One of Brian De Palma's masterpieces, Blowout sees the director at the top of his game and features an A-list cast, including the outstanding John Travolta and John Lithgow.
The trains never come in on time. They're always running late here, and they're notorious, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I bet you at least got 30 minutes.
Negative word of mouth spread after the movie premiered due to its dreary story about a sound effects technician who discovered audio evidence of an assassination. As such, it performed poorly at the box office and never reached an audience. The ending only adds to the film's depravity and makes for an emotional yet unforgettable movie experience. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, They Live.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
If this movie were released today, with the horror-comedy hybrid genre booming, it would definitely be more popular. The film follows Roddy Piper's character, yes, that Roddy Piper, as he discovers a pair of sunglasses that let him see the truth about consumerism, advertising, and that the ruling class is concealed aliens.
Near the entrance, has a shotgun. White male, 30s, long hair.
Mama don't like tattletale.
Not only is the movie scary and fantastically absurd, it also provides thoughtful commentary on the rich, the economic status of America, and the influence of mass media on the general population. Not bad for a silly sci-fi movie starring a wrestler.
I'm giving you a choice. Either put on these glasses or start eating that trash can.
Not this year.
They say that you're only as good as your last hit. Do you think this is unfair? Let us know in the comments.
Get it, buddy. Sure did.
We did it, he's gone.
You did it, buddy.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.